All right, we're here with Kat Rodriguez. We're talking about both professional interview questions as well as personal interview questions. So, on the personal side, what is one thing you spend more money on than you care to admit?
Oh, can I have more than one answer?
Of course.
I feel like for me, it's a cross between comedy show tickets and probably winter boots.
Winter
Just
boots.
because, I mean, in Colorado, it's just like, you need winter gear. So
Sure.
for me, I can't even tell you how many pairs of winter boots
You're
I
wearing
have.
one of
I
them
mean,
right
I think I have these in multiple colors. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm always prepared and my feet are always cold. So I just need multiple.
Fair enough. We're all nerds on this team in our very special ways. I consider myself a financial nerd. What are you nerd about?
Definitely video games. Like, too many video games. I am a sucker for anything PC, PS5 related. I don't know if any Hogwarts nerds out there, but the last game I got through was Hogwarts Legacy.
So good.
Played that for every day, probably for 2 months.
The game is silly addictive.
Oh my god, it's so addicting. I mean, that was my favorite so far. So I mean, just video gaming. For
That's
sure.
awesome. Love it. What would be your perfect meal? And you can mix and match.
That's a hard one. I would have to say number one, my mom's empanadas.
Okay.
Like, that is my death row meal
Very
number
specific.
one. But yeah, very specific. And then probably filet. Definitely filet. Steak. I love steak. Any kind of steak, you name it, love it. Yeah, I think those are like definitely my go-to. If I had to pick one meal before I die, it would probably be those two things.
Got it.
Which
Love
is a
it.
weird combination, but it works.
Alrighty. What is your favorite place you've ever been and why?
That's a good one. I think I would have to say Tulum, Mexico.
Sure.
I actually recently went there for a wedding, and I mean, that place is just magical. The beaches are amazing. I'm a big beach vacation person. So definitely the beaches were great. The people there were awesome, and I mean, the food, obviously, because I love food. So probably Tulum, Mexico.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Been there too. It was really nice. When we went, it was just scorching hot, and there was no
sure.
cover there. And my wife was literally just melting away.
Honestly, that was kind of me too. But I mean, I love the heat, so for me, it's just like, yes, bring it on, bring on the sun rays. Like,
My wife melts. she was
Poor
really
Brittany.
evaporating in front of my eyes. Like, this is rough.
She's like, this is great. We're having so much fun.
Made for some really funny pictures, but yeah.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thanks. What is your most defining characteristic? If somebody is describing Kat, what is the first thing they talk about?
Well, I would hope that people notice my empathy, especially with this job. Specifically working with first-time home buyers and knowing how overwhelming that process is for them. I very much try to put myself in their shoes and realize, okay, this is not easy, and this is their first time going through this process. So I try to have a lot of empathy for people in general, just because you never know what someone's going through. And, you always want to put yourself in their shoes. So
I talk about that all the time. Like, if somebody ever gets upset, it's not about what we talk to them about. It's about everything else that's going on. Like, we are just one thing at a time.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I think you may have already answered this question in a way. If you could go to a comedy show, a concert, or a sporting event, which one would you choose?
So I can't pick all three, huh?
You cannot.
Okay. Considering that I've lived in Colorado for like 7 years and haven't been to a Broncos game, I would probably pick a Broncos game just because I've never experienced it. I've always heard great things. So probably that, but because I can't pick comedy.
Right.
I can't pick comedy anymore.
Sounds like you already get your fill of that. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
Awesome. What kind of books do you like to read?
Definitely, if I had to choose one, probably self-help books. I'm very into mental health and, making that important in my life. So I think self-help books are a big one for me. I really like the book Dark Night of the Soul, if you've ever read that one.
I've not. I'll add it to the list.
It's a little spiritual. But yeah, definitely self-help books or anything to do with mental health, which is super important to me. So
awesome. Love it. Thank you so much for taking some time today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.